I'm Tom Ristenpart, and on behalf of myself and my co-chair, Engin Kurda, it's our distinct pleasure to welcome you to the 26th USENIX Security Symposium. So we'll just have a few brief introductory remarks, thank some people who make this conference really tick, go over a few stats from the submission process and review process, and then get on to the perhaps most exciting portion of this, which is the Distinguished Paper Awards and the Test of Time Award. So this conference is huge, and it's successful, and we have a lot of people to thank for that. First is the program committee. The program committee did just an exceptional amount of work. I think we had the most ever submissions for USENIX Security this year, and together they produced 1,600 reviews and made more than 2,200 comments on the review system. And that doesn't even count all the in-person discussion at the in-person program committee meeting. So they just did a ton of work. So let's please give them a round of applause. In addition to the technical track, we have a number of other fantastic programming for the conference. So the Invited Talks Committee, David Molnar and the rest set up some great invited talks. Our poster session, Nick Nikofrakis helped select posters for the poster session. There's the Test Time Awards we'll hear about towards the end of this talk. There's a short lightnings talk that's going on. Kevin and Dan did a lot of work on that. And then, of course, there's the steering committee that does a ton of work every year as volunteers to help ensure that USENIX security is a success year after year. So please thank them. So I think one thing that Engin and I commented on over and over again was how much support and help that we got from USENIX. It really made running this, selecting the program for this conference very straightforward. So we'd like to thank Casey and the rest of the USENIX team with a huge round of applause for making this run fantastically. We have a number of sponsors who are helpful in terms of providing financial support to ensure that we have a successful program. Platinum sponsor, Facebook, and our gold sponsor, the National Science Foundation. We have our silver sponsors and bronze sponsors. We also have sponsorships for student grant and for women to make sure that we have a vibrant community here. And finally, a number of media sponsors and industry partners. And altogether, all of these help make sure this runs smoothly and well. So let's thank all of our sponsors. Finally, I'd like to thank all of you and all of the other participants for USENIX Security this year. Anyone who submitted papers and all the external reviewers who helped with one-off reviews. And of course, all of you attendees. You're the reason we have a great community. So give yourselves a round of applause. Why not? Okay, just a few brief logistics announcements. Speakers, please report to your session chairs before your session so that your session chair knows who you are and knows that you're actually going to come give your talk. That'll make sure Engin and I don't have any heartburn throughout the next 3 days. If you're interested in attending or hosting a Birds of a Feather session, either tonight or tomorrow, there's times for these. You can check out the registration area board or go to the website for the latest schedule. Speakers and authors, please send your slides to slides@usenix.org as soon as they're finalized or right after your presentation. This is a huge, important resource for everyone in terms of knowing about your work, so we really encourage you to do that. There's going to be a student photograph in the junior ballroom foyer lobby, which I have no idea where that is, but I'm sure someone does. You can ask the registration people. It's at 3:30 p.m. on Thursday, so if you want to be chronicled in the Chronicles of Time as having attended, go for that group photograph. Just a few other announcements on the activities. There's a reception tonight in the Fountain Square, which I presume is right outside in that beautiful courtyard in between all the hotel buildings. There'll be a community meeting with the USENIX Security Symposium, so if you have any compliments or complaints, I guess, go talk to them. More seriously, of course, everyone wants to hear about your input on the future of USENIX security. There'll be a lightning talk session, 8:30 tonight, and a Birds of Feather will run through that as well. Tomorrow is symposium luncheon. Today, lunch is on your own. Tomorrow, there'll be a luncheon. There'll be a happy hour and poster session tomorrow, and a doctoral colloquium, which is a great opportunity for PhD students to get some advice or perspective on doing a PhD and then potential career track after that. At the luncheon tomorrow, we will have the announcement of Facebook's Internet Defense Prize. Facebook has been very generous over the last few years in supporting the USENIX security community with the Internet Defense Prize, and it's quite a big check for their research to support research. So please come and you'll find out who the winners are there. And let's thank Facebook for their continued support. There's a number of upcoming USENIX events. I'll refer you to the website to check out all the great other programming that USENIX has available for us. And with that, I'll turn it over to Engin to talk about some statistics.
Okay. So as Tom mentioned, we had a lot of submissions, 572 papers, the highest number of papers that have been submitted to date. The conference is still very selective, so we selected 85 papers. That's about 16%. And I think about more than 100 organizations are actually represented at the conference, which is a very good thing. And today I found out that 675 attendees actually registered. Some of you noticed that there was no more room. We reached capacity. So apparently this is the largest number since the 1999 dot-com crash. So hopefully it's not a bad omen, right? So make sure you attend next year, right? Okay. So some more statistics. So we decided to look at the reviews a little bit. So if you look at the popular words in accepted paper reviews, you see things like paper, authors, not very surprising, how they, which like attack, security analysis, right? People find interesting ideas good, so interesting comes up quite a bit. Different, evaluation, problem, and performance, right? This is USENIX. Performance is important. If you have a good performance, people typically like it. If you look at negative words in rejected paper reviews, it turns out things like paper authors, overall problem, really, I'm still actually SGX, practical. Novel, compared, so you probably haven't compared to existing word, overhead, potential, simply, and experiments, right? So these were apparently the main reasons why papers got rejected, right? So if you take all these words and you create a classic review, we think that it might look something like this. So accepted paper will be, I like this paper. The authors show an interesting attack, and the security analysis and the evaluation doesn't have a performance problem. Paper goes in. Right? However, if it gets rejected, probably it says the paper has potential. Overall, the authors present a system that is not novel compared to existing work. The experiments are simply a problem, and I'm still really not sure SGX is practical. So, quick statistics. Looking at some words in the titles, deep was used 8 times, rejected. We have 1 paper accepted. Practical, just because you say it's practical doesn't mean it's practical. You had 13 papers rejected, but 3 accepted, right? Encryption, 23 rejected, 1 accepted. Crypto, 16 rejected and 2 accepted, right? So it shows you how tastes are these days. Android, 25 rejected and 3 accepted. So if you're working in Android security, it's a good thing, but it might be time to move on. So with that, let's go on to the Distinguished Paper Award. So these are papers that sort of distinguish themselves in some way, in some unique way from the other papers. We had a subcommittee that looked at all the submissions, and there was a discussion about these papers, and we decided to give them an award. So the first one is Vale, Verifying High-Performance Cryptographic Assembly Code by Barry Bond et al. So we'd like to invite the authors to come and pick up the award. So the second paper is called Detecting Credential Spearphishing in Enterprise Settings by Grant Ho et al. And hopefully the authors are here. This is a large room, so it takes a lot of ability. So we have 6 such awards. So the next one is called A Longitudinal End-to-End View of the DNS Ecosystem by T-Jong Chung et al. And the authors are coming up. Congratulations. Congrats.
You can go closer.
All right. Congratulations. So the next one is Loophole, Timing Attacks on Shared Event Loops in Chrome by Vale et al. Congratulations. Congrats. And then we have MPI, Multiple Perspective Attack Investigation with Semantics-Aware Execution Partitioning by Shiking Ma et al. And congratulations to the authors. Congratulations. Congrats. Finally, we have another award for Corkscrew, Exposing the Perils of Security Oblivious Energy Management by Adrian Tang et al. Congratulations to the authors. And with that, we move on to the Test of Time Award, and Dan Monet will be presenting that.
Excellent. Thanks, Jürgen. Okay, so it's a great pleasure to do the Test of Time Award. This is something we've been running now for a couple of years, since 2013. Let me just quickly remind you, the Test of Time Award is awarded to papers that are older, that were published more than 10 years ago at USENIX Security. These are papers that had a significant impact on the research community and also on in practice. We're hoping that over time this will kind of become the classics of computer security, so anyone who wants to get in the field, these are kind of must-read papers. So this list is actually kind of getting quite long, and I hope it will get longer over time. Let me just remind you that the previous Test of Time Awards, there have been so far, 4 so far. The first one was awarded to StatGuard by Crispin Cohen, Colton Poo, and others. The second one was awarded to Tor, Roger Dingeldine, Nick Matheson, and Paul Syverson. Third one was Why Johnny Can't Encrypt by Alma Witten and Doug Tiger. And the fourth one last year, Preventing Privilege Escalation by Nils Provost, Marcus Friedel, and Peter Honeyman. And so it's a great I should say, by the way, the award committee that selects these papers is myself, David Wagner, Matt Blaze, and Kevin Fu. So, without further ado, the Test of Time Award for this year, drumroll, is going to actually, thank you. It's actually going to a very, very relevant paper that's been very relevant this year as well. It's a paper by David Moore, Jeff Volker, and Stefan Savage on inferring Internet denial of service activity. So can the authors please come up? Congratulations all. All right, and then the test of time papers are usually celebrated in a special session and a panel that's going to take place tomorrow at 4 p.m. It's going to be a panel on distributed denial of service. Please come. The panelists are going to be Stephen Savage, Damon McCoy, and Tom Anderson. Should be a fantastic event. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan. So with that, we are going to, so tomorrow there's a denial of service panel. On Thursday. Was it, you just announced it? Okay, sorry. Yeah. That's why I was surprised by this slide. I was like, I can't remember this. Okay. So make sure to attend USENIX next year. It's going to be mid-August in Baltimore.